Okay. Yes, my name is Marlene, as she said, and I represent an organization called ZimboPy. I actually co-founded it with a good friend of mine called Ron. And basically today I'm here to talk to you about how we're empowering Zimbabwean girls as change makers. So as I go through the talk, if you'd like, if you want to see more information about it, you can follow at ZimboPy on Twitter, and you could also follow me on my personal account at Marlene_ZW. I just joined Twitter, so I am actively looking for followers and to follow interesting people as well. So feel free to do that. So getting started, who we are and what we do. So basically, when I started ZimboPy, I had just come back from college. I had gone to study outside of the country, molecular biology. And when I came back home, I don't know whether it was having gone out and seeing the way other people live, or maybe just growing up and seeing that the world is not as nice as we thought. And so when I came back to Zimbabwe, I really started to see the gender inequality in the society, and really wanted to figure out ways that I could address that inequality. And so that was one of the reasons why I started. And then a second reason is that just in general, in the physical sciences, so we speak about engineering or technology, there are not that many women. In Zimbabwe in particular, only 17% of students studying physical sciences at university level are women or girls. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I started the organization. Where do we work? We work in various locations. So we work in community centers, universities, high schools, and tech hubs. In all of these places, what we do is we teach girls Python programming, and we also teach them graphic design. We teach them just various other things that we build as a community. So actually on GitHub, we have a curriculum that's open source if you'd like to contribute to that curriculum. We first start with the Django Girls tutorial as sort of a base for the girls to learn. And then from that, we grow the curriculum from there. Hannah and Bree. They are from Zimbabwe too, so hi guys. So then from that, we grow the curriculum from there, and we're trying to make it into a curriculum that's relevant to our community, so the different stages. In community centers, we deal mainly with teenage girls, and then in the university, obviously, with older girls that are studying engineering or ICT. And then in the high schools and tech hubs, we do workshops every now and then. So for each and every sort of sect, there is a different curriculum that we're trying to build with just contributors from all over the world. So we have people who are already contributing to that, and if you would like to do that, you can look it up on GitHub, and I think it's just ZimboPy. So I'm actually going to talk specifically about the community center clubs that we do. And for our community center clubs, we focus specifically on girls that are from communities that are disadvantaged economically. So we work in the high densities of Zimbabwe. Right now we are in Harare only, so we work in 2 different places in Harare that are high density areas. And so most of the girls that come to our club will have never used a computer before. So, when we go, like for example, when we first started, we started doing workshops every now and again, and those workshops. So when we first started, we started doing workshops, and we first started with girls from like the suburbs of Harare, so places where they were wealthier and could afford laptops and things like that. And so in those spaces, the girls would do well. They would come in and they would go home. They would do maybe the Django Girls tutorial and then go home and practice, and we're engaging really well. But then we had a workshop when we invited girls from Mfakosi, which is a high-density area of Harare. And when those girls came in, we were really shocked to see that even though they do live in the capital, they'd never used computers before, and for several reasons. So one of the reasons is that in Zimbabwe, people will have enough money maybe to buy phones, and will maybe have like 1 or 2 phones per family in those areas. But then computers are really out of the range of most people in the areas there. And so a lot of the girls will literally be like taking selfies as time like they were like taking selfies with the computers, and it was so crazy because they live in the capital. So I was really surprised by that, and so it really came as like a moment where we were just like, okay, we have to really start engaging with these communities. So we started in January, and since January we've opened 2 community centered clubs. One of them, the first one, is in Mhangami, and what we did is we brought in laptops for these girls. We have, in order to start at a community center, we need at least 10 laptops, and we have about 40 girls that joined the program, and the girls will share the computers and come in different rotations. But they're really excited, and we meet with them about 2 times to 3 times a week. And the second club is one in Highfields, and that's the center there, the house that's there. And for that one, we're in the process of opening it and hope to also have 40 girls as well. But how we did that as well is that we've had some really great partners come on board. GitHub recently came on board as a partner and as a sponsor, and so they help us in terms of funding for the laptops. And we also have PyCon Zimbabwe that also helps us with just in general hosting events that can help us with this. We're actually going to be collaborating with them for PyCon Zimbabwe this year. We're going to be having like Mentorship Week, but I'll talk about that in a bit. And then we also work with public high schools that we approach, and they sort of help us to fill the club with the different girls that would maybe be a good fit, would be maybe interested in technology, and also we feel like would, enjoy the program and not really be feeling like they're forced to be there. So far it's been really great. The girls have been really interacting well, and we are at this stage right now in our first club where we're now building websites and blogs and things like that. So they've really been enjoying that, and yeah, it's been going well. And we also work with social workers, and we work with volunteer trainers. So knowing that when we go into these communities where they're from the high-density areas, we know that a lot of these girls might be coming from backgrounds that are not always ideal. So some of them may be coming from abusive households or households where they might need help. So we work closely with the community social worker who will be there, and the girls each week, once a week, they meet with a lady from a local organization that will come, and she will give talks on self-esteem, and the girls will interact and do exercises, and they'll also write letters, and so the social worker will go through the letters and see if there are any high-risk situations and help us deal with those situations. And this is like a really cool one that I'm really excited about, and really, that we just did recently is one of the girls that was in one of our clubs. She was in a situation where she had done really well in her school. So I don't know exactly what the schooling system is here, but she'd gone like halfway through school. And there's a major exam that they write, and she'd done well in that exam. But then her parents didn't have enough money to let her go forward, right, to the next stage of high school. And so she wrote that in one of the letters. And so what we did was we approached one of our partners and asked for help with that, and they were able to fund her school. So that was really great, and I was really excited about that. So that's something that we also try to do to engage them there. And then we also have volunteer trainers from within the different communities who we teach them how to code, so they volunteer in exchange for learning the skill of Python programming as well. So I'm really sorry if the movement of the screen makes people sick. I was talking to someone about Prezi, and they said that the movement of the screen could make people seasick. But I don't know if that's like an issue here. So if it's making you seasick, I'm really sorry about that. But, oh well, it's too late to change it. So why exactly did we decide to focus on Zimbabwean girls and on the skill of coding in specific? According to LinkedIn, the top 10 most in-demand skills in 2017 will all involve coding. And so it's really a great opportunity when we can give girls the tools to be able to create in a 21st century context, and to give them a tool that even if they're not able to go to university, if they work hard and they are able to gain experience, they could even bypass university and go directly to working. And so that's something that can really propel a lot of girls out of poverty. And so this is something that I really feel like if we, the more girls we're able to target, and girls who specifically can also become passionate about coding, can really have the opportunity to move out of poverty. So that's something that we're excited about. The second thing is that we want to create safe spaces for the girls. So, I was speaking earlier on a panel, on a diversity panel, I mentioned about how in Zimbabwe the culture is kind of, the culture is not necessarily for girls. So in the past, the guys were the ones that were the providers for the family, the men were the providers for the family. And so oftentimes the families will sideline the girls and will want all the opportunities to go to the boys in the family. And so we'll actually go into communities, and the communities will immediately become sometimes angry and be like, why aren't you making this for boys as well? The girls don't have the capacity to be able to do this or whatever. And, we have to go against some of those things. It's also coming from the idea where women are not as valued. So going against this and creating a safe place where we can affirm the value of girls in our places. We have, we try to, once every 2 months, once every 3 months, we're trying to take the girls on bonding trips. We recently took a group of our girls to like a farm, and we did some fresh fruit picking. We picked mushrooms, and we hung out with some rabbits and really fun stuff for the girls. I think they had fun. I had fun. But it was a really great time, I think, to also bond with them and for them to also get to know us and their trainers. And so they also feel free to, if they ever have issues, to come to us. And that's something that we encourage and create a safe space. And the third thing is that we want to create social change. And like I said, when you empower girls with the tools to be able to create in the 21st century, they can come up with an idea and actually make something that could potentially help their communities. This is something that is a great tool to use. So we have something called Mentorship Week that is coming up. Our first Mentorship Week, actually ever, is from the 17th to the 21st of April. That's 2017 on the side there. But what Mentorship Week is, we have a second one from the 17th to the 19th of August. It'll be a 3-day one, and it'll be just before PyCon Zimbabwe. So if you're planning to come to PyCon Zimbabwe, you can choose to go on the mentorship, the ZimboPy mentorship track, and you just come maybe 3 or 4 days earlier, and you volunteer to help the girls build a project. So basically what we're doing is we're collaborating with universities from across Zimbabwe. We are working with the University of Zimbabwe, the University of Chinhoyi, and Harare Institute of Technology. And then we get their top female technology students, and we get their top female engineering students. And we're creating projects that we believe can affect the community. So in our first one that we're building from the 17th to the 21st, we'll be creating an e-commerce project that will be helping small-scale farmers connect to vendors, to local vendors. And so the project is going to be open source. It's going to be on GitHub. If you would like to see it, it'll be there. But we are also working with a partner to be able to hopefully bring it out into the market, and at some point also help the organization be more sustainable. So hopefully some of the projects we will make will also go to the sustainability of ZimboPy. So that will be our first project, and we hope to also create more. And so the girls will also interact with mentors from around the world, and we're still recruiting mentors right now. Actually, okay, let me just mention. So right now for the first mentorship week, we have from the 17th to the 21st, we have some mentors from different places around the world. A guy called Mike Place will actually be coming to Zimbabwe to assist with the mentorship week. And so that will be from those times. So how can you help? The first thing is, if you want to become a mentor, we really would love to have different people becoming mentors and helping the girls build whatever projects we're making. The first project that we're making, the e-commerce platform, will be built in Django. And so if you have experience in Django, this is something that we would love help with building. So an option is for you to sign up to come to Zimbabwe as a mentor directly for a week. And we're really working hard to try and get partners to be able to pay for people to come to Zimbabwe for Mentorship Week. We're still in the process of that, but if you would like to come, definitely reach out. The second thing is you could be an on-call mentor. So you can sign up for a time period. You can say, from this time to this time, I'm available. So if the girls have an issue that they run into, during this period of time, I'm available to help them solve that issue. And so you would just do that remotely, and so we would send you a message and you would just Skype in and help the girls with that problem. And then the third thing is that we're having a panel for the girls where we're having different people from within the tech industry help them know what it's like to be a woman in technology, and also help them in terms of how to transition into the working world from university or from wherever. So that's something we're also doing. And then the second thing you can do is, if you would like to, you could donate. I'm wearing a very cool t-shirt right now. If you would like, you can buy a t-shirt. I don't have t-shirts with me right now, but you can buy a t-shirt online, and all the proceeds from the t-shirts go directly into our organization. The second thing is to donate old laptops. If you have any old laptops, or if you are from a company that upgrades regularly or something like that, it's definitely something that we would appreciate. Any hardware, even like Raspberry Pis and stuff like that. And the third thing is money. Of course, everyone wants money. So if you would like, you can donate directly, or you can sponsor a community club as well. Why we need you? We need you because we would like Zimbabwe to be affected positively. So there are so many things that technology can do. And we feel like Zimbabwe is a great place to, just for like 5 minutes, like maybe 30, I mean, I'm not going to say 5 minutes, but 30 minutes of your time of like volunteering to mentor can really make a big difference in these girls' lives and make them feel connected. The second thing kind of goes along with that. You know, Africa has kind of been sidelined for a long time in the tech world. And so really, this is an opportunity to engage African women in the global tech world. And I think that this is a great opportunity to do that. And then the third thing is to join with other developers who want to make a difference. So we already have a good community of developers. For our mentorship week, we have developers coming in, helping from Botswana to America to Germany to Madagascar. There are some people there that are helping us out with the mentorship week. So there are lots of developers that want to, you know, make a difference in this realm, and I think this is a great place for you to join as well. Okay, and so finally, Zimbabwe is a really nice place, is the final way I want to convince you, because Zimbabwe is really nice, guys. There are elephants, there are waterfalls, and a nice city. It's not as crazy as the news sometimes portrays it to be, but it's really amazing. So if you would like to come to Zimbabwe, this would be great. And yeah, you can, if you want to sign up to be a mentor, or for more information, visit ZimboPy.com. Oh no, there's my battery. Okay, but it's ZimboPy.com. So like my shirt, ZimboPy, and then .com is where you can find more information, or just tweet at me. And yeah.
Thank you very much, Marlene. I'm sure everyone here liked to learn more things about Zimbabwe and the women empowerment there. So we have some time for Q&A.
Hi. Okay, it's working. I'm so impressed by the work you're doing and how many ways you're doing it in. So this kind of seems a bit like a shallow question, but maybe it's not. I love the visual branding you have for ZimboPy. You have. It's such an awesome logo, and it stands out, and it kind of sums up what you're about. So I wondered if there was anything you could say about that, about how you've been branding and getting your identity out there.
Okay, for that, basically when the person that designed it for us, I'm terrible at design, so it's not me, but the person that designed the logo for us, we specifically reached out to her because she does a really cool mix of African, keeping authentic, like an African feel, but also in a modern way that's not really stereotypical. Mm-hmm. And so we specifically looked for her to design the brand, and she did it for free as well. And so in branding, we have t-shirts, and we obviously take the brand with us wherever, but I definitely think that we try to keep the African part of it in it, so that we also are maintaining that, African culture is still good, but also adding like a modern twist to it. So I don't know if that answers your question. Yeah, thanks. It does. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciated this talk. I'm I feel good after this talk. And my question is, does the Zimbabwe government support your community work, or just only universities or volunteers? Because, it's a networking project with many social implications, so it's very, very good. So
the Zimbabwean government is it's a little tricky at the moment. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. We do work closely with local government. They give us access to the community centers. So the buildings that are there are government buildings, the ones that we use. But in terms of support directly from the government, actually is probably being the opposite. Not necessarily supporting us and actually putting some hurdles in the way. But I mean, that's just how it is right now. So I think that there hasn't really been much support from government at the moment.
And if you can show another time your Twitter address, it might be cool for.
Okay, yeah. The Twitter handle is just ZimboPy, and then my personal Twitter handle is Marlene _ZW. But ZimboPy is the Twitter handle. It should be there. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I would like to ask about English. I mean, is that also a matter?
The cool thing actually about Zimbabwe is because, well, I guess not a cool thing, it's a bad thing. We were colonized by the British, so that was a bad thing. But the cool thing is that, the Python software, everything like that, most of the people that we interact with speak in English, and Zimbabwe, the national language, one of the national languages is English. So almost everyone speaks English. So even in our community center clubs, we do speak English to the girls, but we will do half and half. So they will do the coding in English, but then if they need explanations, if they don't speak English so well, our trainers are from the local community. The volunteer trainers are from the local community, so they know how to speak the language and to explain some of the concepts in Shona, which is the local language there. So that's a good question. Yeah.
Other questions? Any other question? Okay.
You mentioned local government, public high schools, and GitHub. Have you tried or have you had any success in getting help from local businesses, or is that not possible where you are?
I think that there's a challenge with getting, we've definitely reached out to some local businesses, and the response has been mixed. I feel like there's no incentive for local businesses to help community projects, just because they don't get tax deductions from it. They don't, there's very little incentive for local businesses. But we have reached out to some local businesses. Some of them have said, probably one of the organizations that companies that we reached out to has said they will put Wi-Fi in our community centers for us, which is great. But they're doing that extremely slowly and extremely it's really been hard with local businesses. But yeah, it really is quite difficult for us to engage with them. I don't know why, actually. Maybe no incentive is probably it. I don't know.
Do you guys have a Slack channel that you're using at all for working with people across the world?
We currently have a team Slack channel, but we don't have a global Slack channel. We could probably make one, but definitely on GitHub, I think there's that's mainly where people are interacting from the different places on GitHub on GitHub, I think it's just ZimboPy, so yeah.
Anyone else?
Oh, Anna.
Thank you for your interesting talk. As one of the PyCon Zimbabwe organizers, I would like to take this opportunity to invite you to PyCon Zimbabwe 2016. It's happening from the 23rd of August to the 26th. So if you want to attend ZimboPy and PyCon Zimbabwe, you can talk to us about it, and then we'll see you in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, we are working closely with PyCon Zimbabwe. Right before PyCon, as I said, I think for ours it will probably be the 19th, the 17th to the 19th, I think, is when we'll host our workshop. And so anyone who's attending PyCon Zim can opt to also join that mentorship time. So yes, sign up for PyCon Zim, man. That's a good place to be.
I've already signed up as a mentor.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
Any other questions?
So thank you for the talk. You do really incredible work.
Thank you.
I have a question. Do you, in your workshops or things you do you use English or your local languages? How it looks?
We really do a mix. In the universities, it's usually almost all English because in the universities they speak English. And but then in the community centers, it's very much a mix. It's very much Shona and English mixed together. But yeah, most of the time, Zimbabwe is actually surprisingly, I think it's actually the #1 most literate country in Africa. Most people can read. Most people are going to be able to read. Most people are going to be able to write, and do it in English. So regardless of their economic situation, most people are going to be able to speak in English in Zimbabwe, which is kind of cool. So.
Anyone else?
I would like to know if the girls can also learn by themselves, because you told me about this initiative that they come to the place, but programming is a lot about coding yourself. And you told about problems having laptops or something like this.
Right.
So are there girls who are learning themselves as well? Because there are resources online that are free or cheap. Can they use it?
Especially for our community centers, they honestly can't. I don't think so. We are trying to do a system where we just print out notes for them to take home. But realistically, we open the community center to them. So if they want to come in during the week, they can come in. So we meet with them 3 times a week, quite often. But if they want to come in as well on other days, they can talk to the social worker, and book a computer to practice code. But realistically, at their houses, there's no way they're going to access their laptop, or a computer. It just is really difficult for them. And then accessing Wi-Fi as well for them is just out of, it's at the moment it's quite out of their reach. But definitely we try to open the center for them to be able to come as often as they want and maybe even practice by themselves. So yeah.
Another question. I can imagine maybe some girls have some pretty old laptops. So which maybe donated laptops and so on. Which operative system, lightweight operative system, are you using in? I suppose Linux, some special editions of Linux operative system, or just Windows. I don't know. Pretty curious about that.
So at the moment, the computers that we bought had Windows already installed in them. Yeah. So we do use Windows at the moment, for the computers that we bought, the laptops that we bought, they had Windows already installed.
Maybe it might be a cool idea installing some lightweight Linux operative systems in order to keep to life, to bring to life older laptops, and so it might be interesting probably.
Right, definitely.
In order to use all the laptops, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
I think it's a follow-up to what you said. I think we can use a Puppy Linux, even without the hard disks.
Right.
So if we can get old computers, even without hard disks, we can just use memory sticks to install Puppy Linux.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely look into that when I get back, for sure.
Anyone else? Okay.
Okay, I would like to ask what has been the most difficult part of this project that you have been facing, and how did you fix it? How did you resolve it, if you have been able to resolve it?
Money has always been the problem. Money, I think, is the most difficult problem, or sponsorship, I think. We would like to, I see the potential in the program, and I think that we could expand at a really fast rate if we had the resources to do it. At the moment we have 2 community centers open, but I would like to aim to do 6, but resources are what delay us most. So I think to overcome that, we are trying to do other things. Of course, some great, GitHub has been amazing. Some great organizations have partnered with us, but we're also trying to figure out ways, like I said, with the Mentorship Week, with creating new technologies that we can also do things to make the program sustainable and to be able to move at the pace that I would really like us to move. So.
And about this project, is just limited to Zimbabwe, or in future, if it works well, it will expand to Africa in general?
Actually, so I would actually like it to move across the world if possible,
Yes.
but specifically with the demographic that we're working with. So actually I have a good friend of mine that lives in Ladakh, in like the mountains that are there, and she has she works with schools there, and there's a girls' school that is there it's in the mountains of India. So there's a girls' school specifically that we've been talking to, and there are about 20 girls in that school, and they also are it's a demographic that would not ordinarily have access to computers or to coding, and a lot of these girls will not have the resources to go on to university. So the goal with that is to maybe by the end of the year, I think, have a ZimboPy club in Ladakh, and then of course, Africa is we want to be in every African country if possible. If we had the resources to, I would go everywhere in the world. But yeah, we'll see as time goes on. Yeah, definitely something we want to do.
Another more question. Is there any open crowdfunding project somewhere on the
what?
crowdfunding project? So
Right. Actually, I just started. Maria actually recommended that this week. So I haven't. There is actually we haven't started any crowdfunding project yet, but definitely I think that's something that we will probably start maybe this week. But I have to figure out how to do that from Zimbabwe. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But we'll start it definitely.
Next question comes from me. So, a year from now, what will you consider as a success for ZimboPy?
I think a year from now, I would like to see the project, the technologies that we've created being used. That would be huge, I think. And then I would also like to see the girls that are in our community center clubs really enjoying coding, and I would like to see them building stuff that they like to use, and potentially, hearing from them that they want to go into technology work or into engineering, or that would be really cool to have the girls say that. So I think that would be a success for me.
And are you building a community from the girls that they can interact with each other after they finish the program?
I think that's a good idea. No, I haven't started that, but I think that would be a good idea. So after they leave, have that as a network or something. That would be good. I will do that.
Cool.
Thank you for the talk. And perhaps you said that. What are the ages of the students in the courses, and what do you expect to be a bright future for one of the girls is attending these workshops?
Right. So for the community center clubs, the girls they range in age from 13 to about 17. Those are specifically for the community center girls. And so for them, what I would love to do, what we're really, really, really trying to do is to open some pathways that potentially will either lead to them getting jobs or going to university, maybe on scholarship. We're working with universities with our other programs. So if the universities can say to us, we'll take some of your girls on scholarships, that would be great. Or if we can find organizations that want to build technology that can employ our girls, that would be even better, because that immediately takes them out of poverty, that takes their family out of poverty, and it really can make a huge impact. It's a huge thing that could happen. Yeah.
Okay, one last question.
So, what does your classes actually look like? Are they pair programming? Are they mentoring each other? Or are the girls who've already been through it mentoring the younger girls? Or how does it work? Also, have you considered Google Summer of Code for the girls who've been through?
Okay. So this is our first class. So because we started in January for the community center clubs. So this is our first class. But basically, what the classes look like are we have volunteer trainers that we train ourselves, and then they come in. We have like 2 that come in 3 times a week, and then the girls learn in a classroom sort of setting. We don't have enough trainers to do pair programming at the moment, but then
with each other.
Yes, with each other. Yes, with each other they do pair programs. So it's two students actually per computer. And then for the mentorship week that we want to do, that we definitely will, if we have enough mentors, we'll also do pair programming maybe with mentors as well. So yeah, that's something and no, I haven't looked into Google Summer of Code. I will look into it today. I will look into it today.
So thank you very much, Marlene.